Hey guys, my name is Marie Themadmarsz and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about social media activism. Before I start this video, I know you can probably hear that. My neighbor has a dog and it keeps barking. I apologize for that, and I have family at home, so if you hear any noise, I truly do apologize. But I really wanted to record this video, and I felt like it was very important that I record a video surrounding social media activism, especially amidst everything that's going on. Before I start, I want to throw in another disclaimer. I'm going to be looking down because I am looking at my iPad, which I took notes on last night for this video. And I want to make sure that I put everything into this video, and I'm trying to condense so much information into this video just so that I can, touch and highlight on all the points that I personally feel like are very important but sometimes overlooked. Another disclaimer I want to throw is that I want to throw a trigger warning out there, because this video is about social media activism in general. It's not just about, one specific thing, because there's so much going on that social media activism isn't just about one type of cause. It's about so many different causes at once. And because of that, I may end up saying words that may trigger you. So I just want to apologize in advance. I'll try my hardest to censor myself during the recording of this video. But if I can't, then I'll try my hardest to censor myself post video and whilst I'm editing. I don't know why I just said so much, apologies. But yeah, before I start, I just want to say what social media activism is. So social media activism is, well, a social movement, first of all. It is a social process through which collective actors articulate their interests, grievances and critiques, and propose solutions to identify problems by engaging in a variety of collective actions. Social media activism also implements that, but more on a more digital frame. So, digital work frame. So you have people making petitions, or going onto Twitter and making threads, or going on Instagram and posting, a plethora of images that have information, and putting links in their bios to petitions and different organizations that can help different causes. So that is kind of what social media activism is. And as you can see, if you go online right now, I'm recording this on Thursday 22nd of October 2020. If you go online, you can see so many different causes and so many different forms of activism, social media activism, or online activism taking place right now. So the first thing I wanted to talk about regarding social media activism is mental health. The reason why I wanted to talk about mental health first is because I feel like this is a very overlooked section of social media activism and just activism in general, but it's very important, especially with such graphic and upsetting things happening right now. The first thing I wanted to talk about was self-preservation. The reason why I want to say self-preservation is because self-preservation, it doesn't really fit into the structure of social media. Social media structure is basically about interactivity. It's about liking, it's about retweeting, it's about interactivity. And self-preservation is kind of taking yourself out of that and not engaging. It's not liking, it's not retweeting, it's not searching up keywords that are going on and that are trending in society. And I feel like it's a very important thing to do, especially if you could be, or people who are victims of the things that are happening. For example, I have Nigerian friends, and I would and I've been telling them, if you feel like it's too much, make sure you take time out to log out. Take time to mute words. Take time to, not look at images and videos today. Maybe tomorrow look at the images and videos, but today take time off. Because at the end of the day, it's a lot of the images that are circling the net are graphic, they are gruesome, they are disheartening, and they can have a really negative effect on your mental health. I myself have seen some really graphic images, and I'm not even Nigerian, and they have put me into a bad state of mind. So I can only imagine how my Nigerian friends who have been to Nigeria, who have seen those same streets that are, scattered with, unfortunately scattered with bodies, I can only imagine how they feel. So I would definitely say self-preservation is important. And in addition to that, making sure you're not feeling guilty. If no one has ever told you this, I will tell you this for now. It's okay to take time out for yourself. It's okay to choose self-preservation over fighting for a cause. Sometimes it's okay, because at the end of the day, you can't help anyone else until you help yourself. So if you can barely function because of the things you've seen, if you can barely go a whole day, without breaking down, then it's time to take a break, and it's time to recuperate and revitalize yourself before you can go back into this fight, into this social justice fight that you're trying to fight. I posted on my Instagram before reposted a post from Vice, which is, I believe, still on their page, but I know it's definitely still on mine, which is about ways to take care of yourself during during protests and stuff like that. So if you're confused on how to help yourself, then make sure you check that out. Things such as, like, taking care of your basic needs, taking in positive imagery and art and stuff, doing things that you actually enjoy, such as watching anime or cartoons. You shouldn't feel guilty for doing those things, especially if you're spending hours upon hours upon hours taking in such information that is, absolutely disheartening and heartbreaking. So yeah, okay, sorry about that. I also wanted to talk about graphic images. Do not feel forced to look at graphic images and videos. This can also take a toll on your mental health. I know, like, right now there's not a lot of trigger warnings being put, so maybe you can implement social media such as, like, Twitter's interactions, which is like, sorry, that was really wrong, but what I'm trying to say is, basically on Twitter you can stop autoplay. So you know how when you scroll on Twitter, videos already play, you can turn that off, just to make sure that you avoid looking at very graphic images and videos and stuff like that, because trust me, there are loads of things going around online that can really hurt and damage yourself and your mental health. So make sure you're taking care of yourself before you try to take care of others. And speaking about taking care of yourself, let's talk about allyship and having others help you take care of yourself and take care of the causes that you're fighting for. Right now, as a Black British person, I am an ally to any cause that I support, because I am not directly affected by SARS. I'm not directly affected by, the oil tank that's unfortunately sinking in the Caribbeans. I'm not directly affected by these things. However, I am still an ally for these problems, because these are problems. These aren't, Caribbean or Black problems. These are problems that are hurting the earth, that are hurting humans. And I feel like being a healthy ally is being an effective ally. Before I continue this point, though, I just want to throw another disclaimer. I am not perfect in no way, shape, or form. I would never ever claim to be. So when I'm making this video and when I'm talking about being an effective ally, it's things that I have learned to do. It's not things that I just knew to do. It's things that I've learned to do. It's things that I have taught myself to do over years of trying to be an effective ally. The first thing I would definitely say is amplify voices. It's very, 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 very important right now, especially with things that are happening globally within the diaspora, to amplify the voices of the victims. For example, the Nigerian youth, your Caribbean friends in Trinidad and Tobago, the Congolese children and women who are fighting for their rights. Those are the voices that we should be amplifying. The students in these countries that are fighting for their basic human rights, these are the voices that we should be amplifying. Being an effective ally is not acting as if you understand what they're going through. It's empathizing with what they're going through and making sure that you're giving them the platform, clearing the road for their voices to be heard. That is what being an effective ally is. I want to quote, not directly quote, but I just want to refer to a post that I remember Mela Child putting up on her story when Black Lives Matter was at its height during the COVID. And it was basically about being an effective ally and not posting graphic images. The reason why I, as an ally, won't post graphic images, but don't mind victims themselves posting graphic images, is because it doesn't do anything as me, as an ally, posting so many traumatic images and videos for my fellow followers and in real life friends online to see, if that makes sense. It can cause more damage than it does any good. During Black Lives Matter, there were loads of videos and images of dead Black bodies circulating the internet, and this was very traumatic and very upsetting for a lot of Black people, as a lot of Black people have been victims, or at least know someone who has been a victim of police brutality. And seeing images of dead Black bodies or brutalized and abused black bodies is very triggering. So sometimes being an ally is knowing when to kind of just relax with the, very gruesome imagery and videos, because it can truly cause a bit more damage than it can do good, if that makes sense. It's not to say that those images don't deserve to be on the internet, because for some people, they need those videos to really show how important or how serious, basically to show the severity of certain issues. But being an ally, just know that when you are posting these images, if you feel like it is very important for you to post those images and videos, make sure you're putting trigger warnings, and make sure you're writing what that trigger warning is. Don't just put TW, don't just put trigger warning, or don't just, you know, not identify where the trigger warning is. Make sure you're putting it so that your followers, so your friends, so that the victims can know, okay, this is an image that I don't need to be seeing right now. I don't want to engage in this, so I don't want to see this. Thank you for this trigger warning. It does a lot of good to put those trigger warnings there. And in addition to that, being an ally isn't doing good so that someone can pat you on the back. I've seen people throw loads of things back in our faces, specifically during the Black Lives Matter, saying, well, I posted this and I put this hashtag and stuff like that. And that's not being an ally, that's performatism. And with social media, it's very, very easy for that thin line to be crossed between, you know, actually caring and performatism. So make sure when you're being an ally, you're truly caring about these causes that you're talking about, and you're actually trying to educate yourself and inform yourself on things to do. My last point before I move on to my next point, which I think is maybe my last point, is being an ally is educating and learning and amplifying voices and donating if possible. It's not it's necessary, but it's not, you know, you don't have to do it. If you can't do it, don't feel guilty for that. But being an ally is making sure that you oh no, I lost my point. Is making sure that you're continuously educating. I found my point again, sorry. Is continuously educating yourself. For example, you may say something or do something that may not actually be beneficial, and then you learn and educate yourself, and then you see that, okay, this is wrong, but this is right. Don't feel guilty for making mistakes. You actually working towards helping this cause or these causes is good enough. But make sure when you're doing these things, you're educating yourself constantly so that you can update yourself and update those around you on what's going on. If yesterday you said something and today you're like, you know what, I agree, but I don't agree with everything, delete the post or change the post so that all those around you can also be informed and updated with the information and the information that you have now been updated with. So those are just different ways that you can be an effective ally. Try to just amplify the voices. Like I said, I'm really pushing this amplifying the voices point home because a lot of these things are happening within the diaspora. It's happening globally. So it's very hard for us to feel like we're doing anything. But the most important thing right now that we can do is amplify the voices of those people who are actually at the forefront of these, you know, natural disasters, these, you know, these human rights violations. We need to amplify their voices. So you're going to hear me say that a lot, and I apologize, but it's a very, very important point to me that we use our platforms to retweet, to like, to, you know, kind of give way to these people. My last point is guilt tripping. The reason why I feel like this is a very, very, very important point is because it kind of leads back to my main point of this whole video, which is kind of just about mental health. Guilt tripping is basically telling people like, hey, you do this, but you ain't done that, you know, and making people kind of feel bad for not doing things. The reason why I would say you should be very careful with guilt tripping is because I can understand why people would guilt trip, and I kind of understand, and like I truly do understand why people do it, because it's like, how can you, you know, I guess dance to Afro beats and, you know, go to Burna Boy concerts and stuff like that, but not talk about, you know, NSARS, or at least, you know, engage in the conversation or the discourse being, you know, happening around it. I completely understand. But at the same time, we have to kind of have a bit of sympathy for those people who aren't talking up, because at times, they can actually be victims. And I want to use two examples. The first example is Black Lives Matter. I'm going to use that again. But this time it was the Black Lives Matter movement within the UK. Because as you guys know, Black people, for some reason, we get treated like SHIT all around the world, within the diaspora, in every country, etc., etc. But there is a actor / musician called Ashley Walters, and he, if you know, you watch Top Boy, you might know him. And people were pestering and telling him, hey, why didn't you do this? And why aren't you talking about Black Lives Matter? Oh, you want to be on Top Boy, but you don't want to talk about this, and blah, 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 red, basically really going in on him and trying to make him talk up and speak up about Black Lives Matter, which again, I can understand why people thought that was okay. However, a couple days later, after all of that happened, he then posted a video on social media platforms. I believe it was Instagram specifically. I can't remember if it was Instagram Live or just a video of him breaking down. And in this video, he's basically saying, I can't speak about Black Lives Matter, or I've chosen not to speak because not only have I already had these same discussions that you guys are only starting to have, I've been a victim to police brutality, and so have my friends, and so have my family members. You know, it's something that's personal, and that's why I've decided to choose self-preservation. And that's why you should be really careful with guilt tripping. Another instance is another thing that happened. There was kind of like a small Me Too movement that happened on Black British Twitter. Well, UK Twitter. I don't want to say Black British because there was other people too. And people were acting influencers and celebs and saying, why aren't you disowning this person over here? And why aren't you cussing this person out? Why aren't you talking? And people said this a lot to this beautiful, talented and funny YouTuber called Annie Drea. She was a victim to the things she's basically a Me Too victim too, and people were continuously barraging her with negative comments and cussing her out and saying this, that, and the third, and they kind of forced her to have to go back into her trauma and access her trauma to tell people, this is why I'm not having these discussions. Because whilst you guys are having these discussions and this discourse, I have not only been a victim, but I've also had these conversations too. And as someone who has gone through trauma myself as well, when certain discussions are finally brought to the timeline, those discussions are definitely going to have a bit of ignorance in them too, because to some people this is a new area or a new world for them to discover. And seeing that ignorance or seeing those negative comments or seeing that discourse can be very tiring, very upsetting, and it can take a toll on your mental health. And I believe Annie Drea basically said that is what had happened when she had come online, and that's why she wasn't online, and that's why she wasn't talking and wasn't speaking and wasn't doing all the things that people were trying to force her to do. So when you're guilt tripping, be careful with who you're guilt tripping. For example, if you're guilt tripping, guilt trip the institutions, guilt trip the governments, guilt trip the systematic ideologies that are in place. Well, I mean, you can't really guilt trip an ideology, but you know what I'm trying to say. Put that energy, that negative energy, towards the people who are the perpetrators of these injustices that are happening in society. Let's leave our fellow people alone, because when it comes to specific causes, because you never know who you're trying to guilt trip, and you never know what that guilt tripping could do to them. It could really put them back, especially if they're in their healing process. A healing process is a very sensitive time for people. So try your hardest not to guilt trip. And if you are guilt tripping, make sure you're guilt tripping the correct individuals. Because like I said, I don't guilt trip, but I can understand, or I try not to guilt trip, but I can understand why people do. But we have to be very, very cautious when we're doing that, because you never know why people are being quiet. You never know why people are taking their time out of social media. You never ever know. So just be very careful with guilt tripping and, pointing fingers at someone. Instead of doing that, what we should do is amplify the voices. Again, I told you, I'm going to use this word over and over again. Because sometimes when we are, focusing on who isn't talking, we're kind of silencing the voices that are talking, because we're putting more emphasis and more light and the spotlight basically on the people who aren't doing their job, quote unquote, who aren't using their platforms and stuff like that. So let's try to stop focusing on who's not talking. We'll come back to them after, Let's give the stage to the people who are talking, and let's give them the platforms that they truly and honestly do deserve. And I believe that I'm nearly done. The last point I have is just different ways to engage in social media activism. So with all of that being said, the different ways that you can engage in social media activism is by signing petitions. I'm gonna say, you say it with me, amplify voices of the true victims, educate yourself and those around you, have discussions. Yesterday I was speaking to my Nigerian friend, and I was like, okay, so what is SARS? And well, not what is SARS, because I knew what SARS was, but I was like, okay, so this, and okay, so that's that, and educating yourself and reading up on things, and just engaging on social platforms, signing petitions, donating money if you can. And again, don't feel guilty if you can't donate or if you can't do certain things. For example, if you can't go to a protest right now during COVID because you have high risk people in your home, don't feel guilty for not being able to do that. Sign a petition instead. Retweet the organizations that are helping. just interact, do something, but don't feel guilty for not being able to do all of the things that everyone else can do. That's not what this is about. That's performatism. If that's what your main thing is like, okay, I done 100 this, ha ha ha, you know, we begin to lose focus on what the actual cause is. And if I leave anything out, I'll try and put it on the screen. But there's so many different ways to interact online and to, I guess, be an activist online. There are literally so many ways. I can't even go into all the ways right now, but those are some of the main ways that you can kind of engage in social media activism. And there are so many ongoing causes right now as I speak. We have NSARS, we have Save the Reef, we have Congo is Bleeding, we have Shut It All Down, we have Am I Next, we have the Anglophone Crisis, we have, oh, I can't say that one because it will trigger somebody. We have child trafficking, we have I believe something's happening in Vietnam and Indonesia. We have so many different problems happening around the world. And in fact, I just want to actually add one more point whilst I'm recording. I know that there is so much going on, but don't ever feel like you are evil or you're bad mind or you're stupid for not knowing everything that's going on. It's virtually impossible for you not to know. It's very, you know, daunting to kind of see every day something new that's negative happening in the world, and it can take a toll on your mental health, especially since, like I said, it's October right now as I'm recording this. Seasonal depression, with the time, you know, with it getting darker quicker and stuff like that. I understand and I sympathize, and I truly do. I mean, I don't truly understand, but I can understand where you're coming from and stuff. But don't feel guilty for not always understanding or knowing what's going on. There's so much to understand. If you told me, Marie, you know, tell me everything about hashtag Am I Next in South Africa, I would be like, I just know it's about, oh, actually, I can't go into detail about that one because that might trigger someone as well. Let's say Congo is Bleeding. You know, I'd be like, okay, well, I know half of it is about trigger word with women, if you can kind of get what I'm trying to say. And I know the other is about, you know, the exploitation of children, young Congolese children in mines and stuff like that. But I wouldn't know the specifics and the, you know, true detail, the hardcore facts about stuff. So don't feel bad, but if you at least know what's going on, and at least if you are at least engaging with the topics and conversations and retweeting where possible and where necessary, then that's enough. Trust me, do what you can do. Don't ever feel like you are not doing enough, or you're helpless, or you're stupid, or you're evil for not always engaging in everything that's going on. There's so much happening in the world, unfortunately, that it's just kind of near impossible for everyone to constantly talk about everything. You'd be tired, you know? So yeah. Before I finish this video, I just want to throw another disclaimer. So many disclaimers in this video, and that is, I know my YouTube channel is very small, therefore I am not eligible to be monetized. But if I do ever get monetized, this video will never ever see any money from this video at all. And that's me being hand on my heart. Wait, actually, hand on my heart, I will never ever. If this video is eligible for monetization, I will do one of three things. The first is, whatever money is made, I will give it to charity and any organizations that need it. I will either turn it into a fundraiser video, because I saw that happening during Black Lives Matter. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I don't know if I'm eligible to make this video a fundraiser yet, but we'll see. And the third is, which I think is kind of like counterproductive, I will turn off monetization of this video, period. So I don't want you guys to ever feel like this video was made to, you know, kind of gain something from people's pain. That's not what I'm here to do. I just wanted to use my platform, which again I know is kind of small, to just educate and help other people understand what's going on around the world, and also just give advice to people who kind of don't know where to start with social media activism. I'm not the best activist, I am not the biggest activist, I am not, you know, the queen of activism, never claim to be, never will. But I just wanted to use my platform to help anyone else who may not really understand what to do during these times, or how to help, or how to be an effective ally, or someone who's dealing with mental health and just need that reassurance that they're doing okay. I just wanted this video to be that video. Like I said, I haven't really gone into detail about any specific causes that are happening right now, because that isn't what I wanted this video to be. Like I said, I just wanted this video to just be around social media activism and it as a, I guess, topic, and I kind of just wanted to focus on the overlooked issues within social media activism. So yeah, I'm sorry, I know I've talked a lot, and I know this video is kind of long. You know me, I always make long A-word videos, but I felt like it was very important that I use my platform, because there's just so much going on in the world that I can't just sit down. I personally don't feel comfortable just sitting down knowing I have a YouTube channel, knowing I'm having such interesting conversations with my friends that I could come and bring online and further the discourse and have more people who know more than me educate me further. So yeah, I want this video to be that place where people can educate me, because I don't know everything. I didn't come on this video thinking, oh yes, I know everything. No, I'm just here to just show what I know and share what I know, so that someone else can share with me what they know, and so that we can all just come together and help one another. So yeah, I hope that this video didn't bore you. I hope I wasn't talking too much. Like I said, there's so much to talk about with social media activism that I probably even left things out. So I'm gonna put different links down below to different organizations, different things that are happening in society today. And if you feel like I've missed out anything, if you are from a country that is bleeding, if you are from a country that is going through it, if you are from a community that is struggling, please make sure you put your hashtags down below, your links, your donations, your petitions, put it down below so that we can all come together and actually help one another. And if you made it this far, then please share this video. You don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe, just please make sure you share the video so that we can all come together again and just help one another, because at the end of the day, that's all we can do. Thanks once again, and apologies if there's any noise that you can hear and stuff, but yeah, I'm done. Thank you.